Hi, this is Jeff with the Halcyon Masters and Impact Gaming. Welcome to the Heroic Ties series, where we take a closer look at the story and lore behind the Vainglory heroes. Today's video spins off from the core Vainglory story to take a look at a what-if scenario. But before we get into part 2, let's quickly recap what happened in the first part. Vox becomes the captain of a navy by accident and loves the pirate life so much he kind of forgets about his sister and dad. Meanwhile, Ardan tries to get revenge on the Storm Queen, but she convinces him to side with her because she has his wife frozen. Catherine goes back to the Storm Queen after hiding for like 10 years and asks for forgiveness. The Queen says, "Alright, come back," but Catherine gets a note from the rebels informing her that they plan to overthrow the Queen. And now we're pleased to bring you The Rise of the Star Queen Skin Lore Part 2. The Queen and her army are away from Mont Lille. Now is our chance to attack, said the Githyan knight. Vox steered his navy above the fortified gates and surrounded the remaining forces that the Queen had left behind to protect her castle. Celeste looked down at the enemy forces to see the front lines were made up of children. The Queen gambled that Celeste would not attack children. To the extent she was right. Celeste hesitated to give the order to fire even against the council of the Githyans. In a heartfelt speech, she told those around her that she was the rightful queen, and those protecting the castle were also her people. How could she justify killing those that she wanted to lead? Celeste had an idea, and turned to Vox and asked, "How loud can you make my voice?" Vox smiled and formed a magical microphone with his hand. Celeste talks a message of hope to her subjects, and at the end of her address, a small boy starts the chant, "No more fear," which echoed across the land. Those once in the Queen army laid down their weapons and opened the gates, inviting Celeste to take the castle without a single drop of blood spilled. The Audacity landed at the base of the castle, and Celeste was welcomed by crowds of people cheering for her arrival. Those that supported the Storm Queen ran, carrying only what they could in their hands. Entering the palace for the first time, Celeste and her band of rebels found themselves in a mirrored room. It was meant to disturb those visiting the Queen, as they had to look at themselves while making their request. The blind Queen was the only one in the room who did not have to look back into their own eyes and judge for themselves if they were guilty. "Hey sis," sang Vox, "you should take a look at this." Displayed in a cabinet was a magical staff and armor bearing a star-shaped breastplate, perfectly tailored for Celeste. The Storm Queen had prepared it with the intention that Celeste, as her student, would one day succeed her. From the balcony of the Queen's chamber, Ardan watched as the band of rebels entered the palace. He held off some basic looters from the Queen's chambers, but knew he could not hold off an entire army. In a desperate final act, he turned off the battery that kept his heart beating and broke Julia's coffin open with his fist to embrace her. He would die with his wife in his arms.
"I see you, Julia."
Before his last breath, Vox and Celeste found their dad. The battery on his armor was running out. Celeste generated a purple orb in her hand. She placed the orb on his breastplate, and the energy of a small star jolted him back to life. His head cleared and air flooded back into his lungs. Celeste looked down at her dad and said, "She's gone, Dad, but we're here, and we still need you. We are together again, Dad. Stay with me. Stay." Vin, the Queen's raven, quickly brought word of Celeste's move on her palace. As if responding to the Storm Queen's anger, the ravens flew into the sky and formed a dark storm cloud. The Queen and Catherine quickly rode to Mont Lille and stopped just short of the front gate. Ironic that the Storm Queen is now on the other side. Under the banner of Parley, 3 people ride out of the palace. In this group was a Githyan war mage, a Leon general, and a blonde-haired girl carrying a staff. The war mage speaks first, saying that the Queen will have to answer for her crimes. The Queen's retort is passive and implies that her niece, a simple mage girl, is unaware of what it requires to lead. That is when the blonde-haired girl announces herself to be Celeste and says, "A mage girl who has taken Mont Lille." The Queen's ravens stir above, creating a massive storm. She yells to Celeste that she would have inherited the throne by law, but the Storm Queen will make sure that Celeste does not outlive her. The Queen calls down her ravens, who form a massive bolt of lightning aimed directly at Celeste. Right before the bolt hit, Catherine grabs Celeste and puts up her Storm Guard force field. The Queen's bolt deflect off the shield and reflect back to the Queen, electrocuting her. Celeste tells Catherine that it was right to trust her, and we now know it was Celeste that sent the letter to Catherine at the Battle of Lyon. Catherine says she has one more crime to commit, and a blade shoots out of her arc shield. In the same way that Catherine killed Julia, she now kills her sister, the Storm Queen. After a funeral for the Storm Queen, Celeste and Catherine have a short exchange. Celeste seeks an apology from Catherine for killing her mom. Instead of an apology, she gets a simple response saying that was just statecraft. Catherine honored her promise to Julia and will now serve faithfully the Queen, but she does not feel the need to justify or explain her actions. That is the conclusion to Part 2 of Rise of the Star Queen Alternative Fate lore. Thank you again for watching and stay tuned for the conclusion. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button as it really does help out our channel. You can also press right here to subscribe and you'll be one of the first to know when we release a new video. On behalf of the Halcyon Masters and Impact Gaming, thank you again and we'll see you on the Halcyon Fold.